Good evening, everyone. Before we get started in committee tonight, Apostolette would like to, so we're going to start with public comments, and Apostolette, would you like to come on up and address council? 3 minutes.
You're giving a preacher 3 minutes. That's not right. Good evening, everybody. I wanted to follow up because the resolutions that I had addressed on the last couple of times I've been here, they were passing, and I didn't hear any response to my concerns. And the one is Resolution 231, 2024. I just want to see some improvements for racial disparity and the divisiveness in the public transportation, law enforcement, and in job and family services. I can speak to this both personally and professionally because the law didn't work for me. And when I ended up on public transportation because I ended up homeless when my protection order was violated. So I ended up living in the streets. I have no criminal record, no substance abuse issues, none of that stuff going on. Didn't prostitute my body or anything, but I got a chance to see some things. And when I went over to the transit center, which I use here frequently, and I saw the signage representing a white male sitting back, relaxing, enjoying the ride, a white couple exercising, 2 white children sitting in the field as if the transportation system was for them. And when I saw white children lined up with college books or school books, and when I saw just white families representing a healthy life, a productive life, an educational life, just a life that's positive, and I saw we people of color only shaking our heads and dancing and popping our fingers and pushing wheelchairs, that bothered me. Because it reflects what Job and Family Services does. It reflects what law enforcement does. It still reflects a lot of things that are not fair, and they're not building families for people of color. And I've asked the transit system to change that. They won't even have a conversation with me. So I would ask that you would please review some of this legislation I have been bringing to your attention, and let's work together. I want to work with you, but I need you also to work with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Apostolette. Before we begin, go over to committee assignments, Holly Miller from the Department of Community and Economic Development will provide council with an update on the Outsmart the Scam event.
Good afternoon, Holly Miller, Department of Community and Economic Development. So I gave you a flyer for an upcoming Outsmart the Scam event workshop that we're doing, and then a magnet that we've been handing out at the Outsmart the Scam events. So far we've had 2. We've had one in Stowe and we've had one in Greene. Those 2 have been kind of centered around senior citizens, scams that are out there currently that seniors can fall prey to. It also has been around scams that come on new devices, since we're giving seniors devices through Direction Home. A lot of times this is the first time they've had an email, first time they've used a device, got on social media, and they just need to be aware of the scams that can happen and what type of emails that they can get that are phishing emails and how to look out for those. We've had the FBI do presentations. We've had Dr. Lacotte. We've had a representative from our OIT department do a presentation. And then at each one of these events, the one in Stowe and the one in Greene, we've had agencies that do services for seniors table at the events. So they're able to give them information, phone numbers that they could call. The one in October is going to be at Talmadge High School, and this one's going to be a little bit different. This is going to be workshops instead of a panel and speakers. So there'll be 4 workshops. One workshop for the novice that's just getting their device. We'll encourage that they bring their device so that we can help them set up the email if they haven't already set it up, show them what a phishing email looks for, just kind of walk them through that. Second one is, I already have my device, but I want to learn a little bit more about the scams that are out there, how to sign up, to get alerts if, my credit card has been hacked, or the new property scam that Mr. Schmidt brought up to my attention last week as we left council. They can sign up to be made aware if something's happened on their title. Third one is I'm really good at my device, but let's talk about VPNs and how I can really protect myself. And then the fourth one is really family oriented. So we see a lot of grandparents are raising grandchildren, multi-generational housing. They give a 10-year-old a tablet, send them to their room, and thinks all is right with the world, when in reality you have given that child a device to some very bad things. So how to set up parental controls. Again, we'll have somebody there on hand to help them set up those parental controls so they really can see what the children are doing. The FBI will be presenting again, and so will Dr. Lacotte. AMHA will have their digital navigator there, along with the libraries and Direction Home. So I just wanted to give you guys an update. We really need help getting word out on October the 19th. We're going to put a whole bunch of information on Summit Connect's website. I believe Greta and her team are also going to put it on the executive's website. And then we're going to just have a couple videos that we're getting made now, 1-minute videos that people can click on of scams that are out there. We're also going to add the fiscal officer information on there so they can sign up if anything happens to their property card. Be happy to answer any questions.
Holly, and to everybody who sponsored this, I just want to offer my appreciation for this, because the scams are out there, and it's not just the audiences that you suggested. For those of you who might be with a nonprofit, we just went through a scam, a family promise. Thank goodness we caught it before it cost us anything. But it's an individual who purports themselves as, hey, my husband and I love nonprofits. We were searching the internet. We found you. We like what you do. We're going to send you a check for $1,100 as a donation. Then the next day you get an overnight package. You open it up. It's a check for $2,100. The check looked official. There was nothing. We get donations all the time, oftentimes from people we don't know yet. We've not met them. So then in the email or in the document it says, please let us know when you deposit the check so we can make sure you received it. We're going to be out of town this weekend. We'll circle back next week. Monday rolls around. They send an email. Oh my gosh, we were out of town. Our financial advisor sent you $2,100. They were supposed to send you $1,100. Would you send us a check for $1,000 for the difference? Because we have bills to pay and we want to make sure our stuff doesn't bounce. Then the final sentence said, could you send us a copy of the deposit slip? Well, there's no way we're sending any financial information to anybody. It just doesn't happen. But that's just one way. Now, when you're ripping and tearing and going through, and you know, we're a smaller agency, but larger agencies, boom, you just go through and deposit the check and it bounces, and then you're going to get a fee for that. Unbeknownst to you, I mean, 'cause everything looks official and above board. So that's another one that's out there. So, FYI on that, when they ask you for any financial documentation, obviously the answer is no. But something as simple as what you've got listed on here, just follow that, and you will really protect yourself.
So at this event, we'll also have bags. Rachel Madigan is designing a bag. So instead of tabling, because tabling, people tend to I want to go to the table, not to the workshop. Anybody who is tabling, we're going to actually put the information in the bags, so we won't have any tables. This will be on the front of the bag. Awesome. On the back of the bag is going to be the logos and, of course, the QR code that will be constantly taking you to Summit Connects, and we'll be updating that. So that QR code will be good forever as long as we have Summit Connects, because we can always update Summit Connects. That exact scenario is something that the FBI touches on, because it's called money mules. So they touch on how you can spot if you're becoming a money mule.
Got it.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you again. This is awesome.
Thank you so much. Oh.
One more scam to be aware of that I would ask you to direct your constituents to. Fiscal Officer Scalise's department has an alert that you can set up or have set up for your family members that will alert you if there is any activity on your property. There have been problems with folks trying to transfer property without the proper people being present and without notification. So she has an alert system that you can sign up for, sign someone in your family up for, so that you can be alerted if there is something filed on your property.
Mr. Ford?
Are there plans to, I'm guessing, to spread this around the county and other communities?
Yes. So we did Stowe, Green, this will be in Talmadge. And then once we kind of get into a rhythm, we'll do it at least once a quarter, have these workshops. But then like I said, we're developing the videos so that you can pass along to your constituents the website and the QR code, which will have short little 1-minute videos on all the different scams that are out there.
Hallie, I don't know if this pertains to what you're talking about. Well, it does pertain to it, I guess. I was driving and I just heard a little clip of it, but on the radio. Just recently, if I'm not mistaken, I could have sworn they said something about a pension. That a couple people here recently just took money out of the bank, and somebody literally showed up to their house, and this is locally. Have you heard about this?
I have not, no. I don't doubt that it happened,
Have
but
you heard
yes.
about it?
Me?
Yeah, I thought I just seen, I was driving in the car and I heard it on the radio and I didn't catch what it was, but, I mean, they literally showed up to their house, a carrier, somebody showed up and they actually gave the money to these people.
I would encourage all of you to come to October the 19th.
Yes.
Oh, you learn a lot. I mean, I've sat through 2 of these now, and, you hear Dr. Lacotte, you hear the FBI, and you sit and you think, oh my gosh, it would be so easy for me to fall prey to one of these because they make it seem so real and so believable when they're telling you, if you just do this, it's only $1,100.
In the Akron Beacon Journal, what community did it happen in?
It happened in Akron. I know one of the residents lived in Firestone Park.
Right, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe something like that happened, right?
The other one lived in Akron.
Right, so I just thought maybe you heard about it, okay?
No.
Oh, John,
Madam
sorry.
President, maybe Mark can find that article and send it to everybody or something. But just to be clear, on the mortgage scam thing, I don't understand the process, how it works, but somebody can actually transfer your house, Jeff, into their name, and you don't know anything about it. I guess you go to get a home equity loan or something, there's and the house is no longer in your name. Is this what happened? I read about this in the paper too, okay? So what this does, the fiscal officer, you go in there, you have to sign up for it, and if anybody tries to transfer your property, which I don't know, like I said, I understand the process, how that is possible, but it is, and it happens. If they try to transfer your property, you will be alerted to it. That's in a nutshell.
Nice.
But, I mean, it was kind of I couldn't believe it. What are you talking about? How could somebody go in and transfer my property? Well, John, you probably have heard of this before because you were fiscal officer.
Yeah, what I'm trying to understand, the fiscal will notify the homeowner. So if I am a title company or an individual, have all the documents notarized, take it to the recorder's division, and ask to have it recorded, they won't record it until I'm notified as a homeowner?
I'm not sure if they won't record it or if they will record it and just notify you that a recording request has happened. I can get some more information from Kristen's office. I can get that information. Or maybe Mr. Migden can come speak about it. But I have requested that somebody from Fiscal be at the event on October 19th to sign homeowners up and talk more about what the alert does and how anybody could even transfer it when you're not present.
Transfer, I don't know, if my property's transferred, one of you steal it, I don't know how we reverse that transaction.
I think you have to go to court.
You would go to court.
I think that's what the article said.
I don't think
think there's
the fiscal
any.
can change it.
Yeah, well, maybe we could get a presentation from the fiscal office.
Yeah, I can
on how this
email
exactly works,
Mr.
because the whole
Migden.
thing is mystifying.
Holly,
And
if we could, or Greta, if we could do, I don't know if you'd call it a town hall or what, but some public announcements. I mean, this is serious. You lose your home. That's your biggest investment in your life.
I think you were working
So-
on that.
Typically, when we send out press releases about common scams, they get shared more widely than any other press releases we send out. So what my staff is working on right now is we're going to create an additional web page that will have the most commonly used scams. So, what you sent me last week, we're going to include that. The jury duty scam, the Apple ID scam, all of those ones that we see pretty consistently, we're going to try and list them in a central location. We'll also put it with the Summit Connects so that if people go to Google, like, what do I do if Apple contacts me, or what do I do if the bank tells me, I have insufficient funds? So we're going to try and compile as many as we can into one area, and we'll certainly include the fiscal office alert.
And I appreciate that, that's all good, but there are a lot of folks out there, a lot of seniors in particular, who aren't IT savvy. One that's getting to
Sure.
be a senior that's not IT savvy. But seriously, if there's, maybe there's some kind of a release from Kristen's office that could go out to all homeowners in the county, just so they understand, hey, watch. I mean, if they
Holly
don't
and I will
see it
follow up,
electronically,
sure.
They might see it, it could be a postcard or something, but just something that says, sign up for this.
Yes, we'll work with the fiscal office and see if we can't. I know that they've done a release, I think, previously, but
Yeah, but
I'm
press
often,
releases,
right.
you're at the mercy
Right.
of.
Well, and-
Ms. McKenney would like to speak.
Thank you. So they can sign up for this from the fiscal office. Is that, can they sign up online, or is this a paper form, or?
It's online,
Okay.
They
but
can-
I'm,
they can call,
I'm certain they
too.
could call and yes.
Okay.
I've also sent the information to Direction Home, so as the staff from Direction Home are in the house doing assessments, they can go ahead and sign them up while they're there on their tablet that they have.
That's really good.
So-
So then we could maybe receive the link for that, and then also just, in the meantime, the information. on
Yeah,
that.
I can send it to Mark, and Mark can send it to you
I'm going
guys.
to do that right
Oh,
now.
perfect.
what,
Okay, perfect. I'd
Nipton
appreciate
put
that.
together
Then we
for
can
you,
at least
Holly.
share it right away on our pages, so, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, because I think if there's a mortgage on the property, it's only the non-mortgaged properties that you could probably get away with, because there has to be a lien release from the bank.
From the bank.
That they got paid. The other thing, a possibility, maybe fiscal could have a 7-day waiting period until the owner of a house that's paid off is notified somehow. I imagine there's a lot of options out there, but it's worth talking about. What about a notice on the tax?
So, Holly.
A notice on the tax bill.
Yeah, for like in my area, Nordonia, we don't even have a paper anymore, so we have no way. So like, are you guys making sure like all the mayors and the trustees and everybody are notified?
We send it
there's-
out, and then we talk about it on the all calls that Greta and her team has every other Tuesday.
Right.
But we'll make sure that, we send this to you to get out to your constituents in your areas, because we want to get as many as we can to this workshop to see if it's going to work for us, and if we need to change the format going forward.
Thank you.
And again, I mean, we all know our organizations in our community, so like for me, with this coming up, I'm going to make sure that our Talmadge Prime Timers, which is our senior group that covers that area, get notified of this so they can come to this, or they know the opportunities that are available to them. So again, as you hear about these things, or as you get this information, making sure your senior groups in your district are aware of it as well is another resource for them.
And not just seniors, we want seniors, but I want high school seniors too. Because I think high school seniors are getting ready to spread their wings and live on their own without mom and dad watching over their shoulder, and they think it's the best idea ever to put their social security number and credit card on TikTok, which is not a good idea. So we want seniors to seniors, because we really want that age group to understand stuff on social media stays on social media, and that not everybody needs your debit and credit card information.
I think it starts a lot earlier than that,
It-
because I know a
it
lot of
does.
kids that can order games and everything.
It does,
But
but
again, getting on the social media platforms, for our seniors that don't use the social media platforms so much. But
Yep.
again, I think those videos that you guys are talking about doing, so those can be regularly shared, because it's one of those things out of sight, out of mind. You think about it in the moment, and then 60 days, 90 days, 6 months later, you kind of forget about it, and then something pops up. So trying to get that out as frequently as possible. Thank you.
okay. Thank you for letting me share.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you. John, you're on.
All right. Public Works Committee will come to order at 4:49. We have one resolution to consider this evening, 2024-242, a resolution naming the currently unnamed roadway between Hummel Drive and Dorwell Drive, Straub Eubank Lane in Coventry Township, per the wishes of the Coventry Township trustees, for the council and declaring an emergency. Sir, I understand you wanted to come up and talk about something? Yeah.
Thank you. My name is George Beckham. I am a Coventry Township trustee, one of 3 Previous to that, I was the township zoning inspector for 30 years. So I'm familiar with this room and many of you, and I appreciate you having me here. What happened, a resident came to one of our trustee meetings, and she's getting married to her. Well, she lives with her boyfriend, and he's a resident, and they're getting married. So she said, for my wedding gift, I want to name this little street next to our house, and it's an unnamed street, believe it or not. There's no name on it.
Street with no name.
A street with no name, exactly. She wanted to name it after her new husband's mother, who had deceased. So that would be her deceased mother-in-law. And her reasoning was that this deceased mother-in-law really liked the Portage Lakes. And our two other trustees thought, well, hey, that sounds really nice, and it did. But I said, well, hey, my dad liked the Portage Lakes too, you know. And there's a lot of people out there that like the Portage Lakes. And I said, when you're government and you're naming a street or a building or a park after someone, it has to be based on a component of some kind of public service. And they both agreed. It was like, well, that's a no-brainer, good idea. But I knew I needed to come up with something fairly quick, or this lady was going to come back. And she did. But it just happened to make it easier right at the intersection of Dorwell and this little street is like 160 by 50 feet. It is paved, but there's no addresses off it. Right there were two very deserving people who did a significant amount of community service over the years right at this neighborhood. The Straubs, Mr. Straub was a Coventry Township trustee. He was the secretary of the Portage Lakes Advisory Council for 15 years or so. Mrs. Straub coordinated with Carol Eubank, one of the other neighbors, and they started what's known as the Portage Lakes Boat Parade. And that's been going on for now like 50 years. And Carol was the president of the Portage Lakes Historical Society. She's well known in City of Akron women's circles, although she passed away about 5 years ago. But anyhow, it's just like, hey, you know, if you're going to name a road, it has to be based on merit. There were two here. The Straubs, incredibly nice people. Carol was a great person. So we came up with Straub Eubank Lane. The other two trustees thought, sounds good, and we went with it, and now we're going through the process.
All right.
So really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Questions from members of the committee? Members of council? The public? Jeff, you want to move on that?
Sure.
Jeff moved on 2024-242. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Is there any other business come before the Public Works Committee? We're adjourned.
Okay, we will call the Planning and Economic Development Committee to order at 4:53. We have two items on the agenda. The first item being 2024-243, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for the courthouse exterior project located in the city of Akron and Council District 4 for an estimated total cost not to exceed $150,000 for the Executive Department of Administrative Services Physical Plans Division emergency.
Thank you. Brian Clark with the Physical Plans Department. This is a maintenance project for the Domestic Relations Courthouse. It was built in 2002, I believe. So it hasn't had any work done on the outside. If you look at it, it's pretty stained. A lot of black streaks coming down the side of the building. And it also is in need of having the expansion joints caulked and some tuck pointing done on the masonry. So just asking for authorization to bid this project.
Okay. Do we have any questions from council, from the committee? Hearing no questions, do I have a motion?
So moved, Madam Chair.
I have a motion from Councilman Wilhite, all in, on 2024-243. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Item passes. Thank you, Brian. Next item on our agenda is 2024-246, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a home investment partnership program contract with Restore Addiction Recovery to support the conversion of an approximately 3,600 square foot building at 552 Schwartz Avenue, located in Coventry Township and Council District 8, into Launch House, a facility to provide a residential program for men struggling with drug and alcohol addiction, in an amount not to exceed $190,000 for the Executive's Department of Community and Economic Development, and declaring an emergency.
Holly Miller, Department of Community and Economic Development. So Restore Recovery opened about 4 years ago, 5 years ago now. They've had 25 individuals complete the program that are now sober. They currently have 30 men that are going through the 4 steps in the program. It takes about a year. After they graduate, all of them have jobs, but all of them typically can find a place to stay. Restore Recovery sets up a savings account for them. Whatever the men can save over their year being there, they match it dollar for dollar. So some of these individuals are leaving with $12,000 to their name, so they're able to get an apartment. Others, they don't want to leave. While they're sober, they don't want to leave. They love being at Restore Recovery. 12 of the men that have graduated actually have their chemical dependency counseling assistant license, so they're able to actually counsel the men that are going through recovery now. So what Restore Recovery did was they purchased a church. This is an old church just across the street from Coventry Crossings in Coventry Township. They're completely gutting it and making it a 5-bedroom facility where up to 10 men, so 2 men per room, can come and they can stay as long as they want. It is a permanent supportive housing facility. One of the men will live there full time as the supervisor, who's actually a graduate of the very first class that they did. And then if they want to leave, they can leave, but if not, they can continue to stay. The requirement is they have to have a job. So what Restore does is they actually find jobs for them in the community once they get to stage 3 in Restore Recovery, and typically they stay in that job. And those jobs can be anywhere from working at a car dealership into construction. Some of them actually have gotten office jobs. By the end, they have purchased themselves a car and they have transportation to and from work. We're looking at doing $190,000 in home funds to help rehabilitate this facility. Everything was done competitive bid, so everything is going to be done prevailing wage, and Hummel Construction is going to be the construction management company. Any questions?
Sounds like an incredible program. Any members of committee first? No? Council? Madam President?
So is it mandatory too that they have to attend meetings?
It's mandatory once they're there that they have to attend meetings, but they can leave anytime they want. So if most of the time, if you've never been to this facility, I really encourage you all to visit the facility in Lakemore. It's a beautiful facility. This is not a court-ordered facility, so men come there when they're ready to come. Some men come for a week or 2 and they're just not ready yet. And then they come back when they're ready. And when they're there, they have to come to all the workshops, they have to go through counseling, but if they choose to leave, they can leave.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Councilwoman
Thank
McKinney?
you, Madam Chair. So do they have to be graduates or participants in the Restore Addiction Recovery Program?
To
or
get to
any
Launch
kind-
House. No, they have to go through Restore Recovery first, and then they will graduate to Launch House. And this is only for the ones that have no place to go.
Okay.
Where they have, through counseling, discovered that the family and friends that they knew is not where they need to go back to. That's the part of their life they need to cut out. So they are now starting fresh, and a lot of them this is their home now. So that's why over half of the graduates have their licenses in order to become counselors for the individuals who are going through it.
Okay, so
Restore Recovery, just on a side note, is developing a female Restore Recovery facility. It's a little bit tougher because females come with children, so it's a little bit tougher, but they are working on it, but right now it's just men.
that's good to hear. Thanks.
And so just for clarification, you did say they have to complete the Restore Recovery to go into the.
To go to Launch House,
Okay.
correct.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I'd just like to go on as a co-sponsor.
Co-sponsor? Okay, council as a whole? Okay.
Usually we go into a detox, a hospital, you go to detox, and then when you're in the hospital or facility, they'll offer these types of programs for people that really should not go back on the street because they're just going to relapse.
All right, do I have a motion? Okay, I have a motion from Councilwoman McKinney on 2024-246. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item passes.
Thank you.
And- Thank you. And the Planning and Economic Development Committee will close at 4:59.
And I'll open Health and Human Services Committee at 4:59. First up is 2024-244, a resolution declaring September 13th through the 22nd as Welcoming Week in Summit County, recognizing refugees, immigrants, new citizens, and the contributions they make to our community, as well as the challenges and roadblocks they face, and declaring an emergency. Madhu, go ahead.
Thank you. Madhu Sharma, International Institute of Akron, Executive Director. Thank you for inviting me back this year. I just want to highlight this year's theme for Welcoming Week. For those of you who don't know, Welcoming Week it's a national, and now it's become a global initiative promoting narratives and stories around migration. We're in a time historically where we've had more migrants, more human beings displaced because of war and famine and political unrest than the history of the entire globe. Why does this matter in Summit County? Because the International Institute of Akron has been here for over 100 years, welcoming people who are displaced and inviting them to make Summit County their home. Every community that's represented here has former refugees and immigrants living within their community. I'm here just today to remind you it's our 9th year of welcoming as a county, so it's time for us to take it up a level, right? We can start building a strategy around what we want welcoming to be in our county. And I also think, especially in this year, a general election year, narratives and stories surrounding immigration, human beings, individuals get reduced to policy debates and politics. And so this year, we're hoping to highlight the stories that we all share about what made us all come to Summit County to invite or to make this our home. I think we lose that when we start talking about policy and politics around immigration, but our county in particular can turn that noise off and celebrate the common history that we have, no matter whether it was early Europeans that came here, descendants of enslaved people who are now living in our county, more recently, Eastern Europeans, South Asians, people that are coming from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Afghanistan, recently Sudan and Syria, and I think in the last 3 months, people from Central America were resettling as refugees. So we really have an opportunity as a county to shape what welcoming means to us and turn off the noise that's happening at the state and federal level.
Very good, very good. Any questions from members of the committee?
One question. Are there any activities that will be going on during the week? And if so, can we get those over to Mark so that he can get them out to all the council members?
Absolutely. Mark, I would just say that there's a group of immigrant service providers in Akron area that represents all of Greater Akron, and there are events that are happening within the group called the Immigrant Network of Akron, International Institute of Akron. Every year we engage in a campaign to debunk myths around immigration and immigration reform. And there's several immigrant servicing nonprofits in the community that have events. We will share those and make sure they're public and invite you all.
That's going to co-sponsor. I also would like to go on as a co-sponsor. Council as a whole?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
But thank you. That's really, and really with capturing the stories, as much as you can share that, why people chose us here to live in Summit County would be wonderful to share with everybody.
Well, I can say, as an immigrant myself, which makes it very awkward to come before you and ask you to vote for a resolution making Summit County a welcoming place. A lot of times we all come for the same green, the green trees, Cuyahoga Valley National Park, accessibility, opportunities. It's simple life in Summit County. It's less stressful. And a lot of people who are displaced are facing trauma. So this is a place where they can begin to find peace. And I think it's historically been that, whether post-World War II, post-Vietnam War. I think this is a common story where we can take a breath and start living life again.
That's great.
So
It's quality of
that's
life.
what I would say, but that's my story. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Can I have a motion? We have a motion from Mr. Ford on 2024-244. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next up is 2024-245, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of professional service contracts with various providers for state fiscal year 2025, utilizing temporary assistance for needy families, benefit bridge, food assistance, employment, and training, and emergency rental assistance program funds from 10/1/24 through 9/30/25 in a total amount not to exceed $6,990,000 for the Executive's Department of Job and Family Services and declaring an emergency. Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Yannion, Executive Department of Job and Family Services. So I'm here before you about this legislation. It actually, on the exhibit, there's 21 contracts as a whole, so that's why the dollar amount is very large. It has 4 different funding: our TANF funding, our benefit bridge funding. We've also have some food assistance and employment training funding, which is specific to SNAP ENT services, and some emergency rental assistance. Of the 21 contracts, we've got several that have to do with homeless shelter services and homeless prevention. Homeless prevention by itself is $1.5 million. Homeless shelter services is $200,000. We have 4 contracts for employment support and case management for either community or mandated services for cash or SNAP recipients, and that's a cumulative of $1.1 million. We have other contracts for barriers of self-sufficiency, such as legal aid and the TAPS program, money towards the food bank and youth education. We are funding some trauma and victim assistance at $300,000 for a contract, and also for kids' safety items and supplies. In addition to that, we have our benefit bridge contracts, which we've talked to in the past. That has 6 different contracts that are renewing for about $2.5 million as a whole. One note about that, we are expanding the NEXT program to actually incorporate both individuals that are looking for a job and the individuals that are already working. So we're going to be doing a collaborative thing. So right now, the benefit bridge labeled NEXT or branded NEXT is for employed individuals, and we use benefit bridge funding. We're going to be expanding the branding to include our SNAP ENT program and use the SNAP ENT funds. So if someone is not ready for benefit bridge yet because they're not employed 20 hours a week, or they haven't had that reduction, but they need additional skills and they're on food stamps, we can use our SNAP ENT dollars for that, and then hopefully they can upskill to the point where they may be eligible or have that employment now that they can go into the benefit bridge program. So we're going to be doing some advertisement and stuff for NEXT as a whole, which will actually be the umbrella program for both programs instead of just one. So do I have any questions?
Any questions from members of the committee? Members of council? Okay. Do I have a motion? Is that that? Yes. Mrs. McKinney moved on 2024-245. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And I have to abstain.
Thank you.
Okay, the ayes have it. Thank you. I will close Health and Human Services Committee at 5:09.